It makes me feel something other than hopelessness.
If you're hearing our voices, that means it's time for It's This Meets That, the podcast where we watch the worst movies from trailer to end credits, scene by scene, so you don't have to, but maybe you should. I'm Russ.
I'm Jared.
And we're back with Pat. Part 2 of part 2.
Part 2 of part 2. That's
part
right.
2 of part 2. That's how we roll. So it's not our fault that this is named this way. It's this movie's fault.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if there's going to be 6 of these, there'll be 12 of these.
That's just basic math right there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Every movie that Zack Snyder does, we have to do 2 episodes about.
Well, there'd be more because we have the trailer trash too. So it'd be actually 3 per 6. It'd be like, 3 times 6 is 18. It'd be
18.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Good content.
Man, get ready for that. Pure tears. So we're back with part 2 of our scene by scene breakdown. As I said when I introduced the podcast, that's what we do, of Rebel Moon part 2, The Scargiver.
The Scargiver. Yep.
It's giving us scars, mental scars.
Yep. Which we never explain in the movie.
No.
Why would we?
And you know what? We're not going to explain it right now either. So.
No, just like Child of Fire.
So where did we leave off? We left off with flashback. Cora killed the princess. We were,
doing the setup before the battle. So the crew is doing a training montage. They're doing a farming montage.
Calm before the storm type of moment, right?
Yeah, they're getting ready.
Yeah, fired up. So then we are we're in the longhouse.
Last night. Yeah.
The Last Supper moment, right?
Yep. That's right. That's right.
So we get we're in the longhouse, nighttime. We got the crew here. We got the crew, the 6 crew. So it's all these rebel, team from different spots and Gunner there, right?
Yeah.
And,
which, speaking of rebels,
oh yeah.
Did you know in the 18th century, French revolutionaries were known to wear striped pants, which were considered outrageous and a symbol of defiance against the aristocracy, who were all about knee breeches at the time.
Right. Of course. I mean, obviously, right? We wear knee breeches around here, so.
Classic fashion resistance.
The French, am I right? Come on.
The French. Those guys know how to do a revolution.
Yeah, right? In style.
Without the guillotines.
Yeah, revolution in style. I mean, come on. If you're going to revolution, do it in style.
Part 1 was long enough on its own, so I didn't want to derail us too much, so I saved almost all of my facts for part 2. So you're in luck.
That's fine. I can edit out if I need to be. All right, so we get nothing to worry about it. So we get the crew, they're chatting away. Titus is like, "Hey, I'm not one for speeches, but I am, and let's do a little trust fall, basically, like trust building, team building."
I'm not one for speeches, but let's all do speeches.
Let's all do speeches. And Titus is basically doing like a little, team building, trust folly type thing. Hey, let's do
truth.
Can we get a flashback trust fall, basically?
Yep. And so they do.
So they do. All 6 of them get their own flashback.
So for starters,
Titus, cue it up. Titus, start us up. Fire it up. He's like, I will tell you my truth. And he tells us truth. It's all in slow-mo. He basically had to watch his crew just die in front of him. And that was the realm. And there's the dreadnought. Okay.
Yep. He got sent somewhere to crush a rebellion, and then they crushed him instead. And there's a whole thing. He was like, "Oh, I can't do this. I don't want to kill all these civilians." And they were like, "Well, joke's on you. We're going to kill all your friends."
See,
yeah. And so he's like, "And therefore, I'll never surrender." Milius, your turn.
Yeah. It was. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." We get his, and I was like, "Oh, we're actually going around the table. Oh, we're going to go around the table, and everyone's getting their own." Oh, okay.
Yeah, quick round the horn. Everyone do quick stand-up update.
Yeah, little stand-up update. Where are you from? Tell us your name, where you're from, and your worst fears. Nothing.
Yeah. And why won't you surrender?
Yeah. Great icebreaker there, Titus.
Yeah. So Milius like, "I've never done a battle quite like this, but I did grow up in a village exactly like this." And like,
cue the flashback.
Yeah, that team just like gave up, and they were weak, and they all got killed, like because they're a bunch of idiots. And then the people who didn't get killed got sent to labor camps. Super fun, am I right? But that's when Blood Axe rolled in. My ex-dead lover.
I think were they lovers? I don't even know.
I don't know, wannabe lovers, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she's ready to die for the village, and like, what more honorable death could I hope for? I was like,
um. uh,
but Nemesis, your turn.
Hey, who's next? Who's next? Okay, yeah. So then, Nemesis. She's like, and it's the scene from the trailer is her. She's holding a kid, whatever, and blah blah. And then she's like, we weren't always a peaceful people. I'm like, what is she? What is going? What is
We
she
were
actually?
peaceful, but weren't always.
We're not. I'm like, what are we actually saying right now? And then she cuts off her arm and replaces a robot.
She cuts
I'm
off
like,
both of her arms. She cuts off both of her arms.
how do you?
Awesome.
What's going on? How is that cool?
With laser swords, I guess.
That's not cool. Don't cut off your own arm. Like, don't do that.
Yep. And so I think she's like Darth Vadering herself a little bit, because she was like, my
bit.
pain became rage, and my rage became revenge, and I've been a creature of revenge since that day. And so therefore,
settle down.
I will kill them.
Jesus. And then we get Abs McConaughey here, and he's like,
yeah, Tarak or whatever.
Right, yeah. He's got his turn flashback.
Oh, my turn?
Who me? Yeah.
Well, none of us get to choose our parents, but mine were royalty.
And then we cut to his. I'm like, what is this, like 1920s like future weird like future thing? Like what? Like he's wearing like a newspaper boy like outfit, like paper here, 5 cents, a nickel for news there, you know?
That's
like,
right.
And
that's right.
I was like, what? And then his mom like jumps off a.
Yeah, well, so the Daddy King was like, I know, I'll negotiate.
Please explain because it hurts
realm.
my head. I stopped listening. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah. Daddy King was like, I'll negotiate with the realm. And so he went to go to negotiate with the realm. And obviously the realm just like brought his body back. Like they killed him immediately.
Yeah.
And then he does a whole thing where he's like, a boy doesn't become a man until his father dies. And I was like, I don't think I agree with that. And so he's king now. And mommy wouldn't run away. So instead, to protect the bloodline, she jumped off a building.
That doesn't.
So that he could escape?
Escape? That. All right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Quick recap on how bloodlines work.
Yep.
You got to keep living.
I think that's part of it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to sum it up real quick here. The Wikipedia, the TLDR here. For the bloodline, you have to keep alive.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yep. Nope. Instead, she jumps off a building, and then so he can escape. Which, like, I don't think they really needed a distraction for that, but I guess they did.
It looks like Coruscant.
It
looks like Coruscant, and it was just like a bunch of birds attacking ship. I'm like, just sneak out
medieval
the back.
Coruscant. Yeah.
Yeah. Just sneak out the back, Paperboy. No one's gonna notice you.
Yep. Nope. And so he's like, so after this, I'm going home. And everyone's like, what? I thought you just said your home was destroyed. Whatever. Cora, your turn.
And that's the best part too. Is like Titus is like, Cora, we haven't heard from you yet. Well,
we haven't heard from Gunner either.
Yeah, like why are you picking on her? Like, and yes, we're working around the room here. We're literally working around the table. Like, and she goes into like her bit of story, and he like presses her. He's like, we haven't heard from you. Go ahead. What is this? You know?
Yeah.
And
she's like, yeah, I did stuff on a ship. Not unlike the Dreadnought once. But then you know what? I came here and like this place really taught me what family could be. And he's like, what? Anything else you want to add? Like you left a lot out there.
Anything? You want to say anything else? No?
Okay. You sure? And then she's like, how's the spring water, Titus?
Yeah. And then she calls him out for not drinking. I was like, all right, settle down. The man made a choice, you know?
Yeah. He's like, tell us about your past. She's like, everyone Titus is pretending to drink. He's not drinking.
He's faking drinking.
Yep. He's like,
that's a
good one.
That's what I would do to you at a bar if you like just started like drinking a water. I'd be like, Jared's not drinking. Hey, this guy's not drinking. Jared's not drinking.
Yep. It's basically what this movie is.
You're at a bar. You're wasting everyone's time by not drinking.
Yep. And then Goon doesn't give any of his like backstory either. He's just
he thanks the final five here, and he's like, "Thanks, guys. Thanks for
showing up.
Yeah, thanks for being around. Thanks for bringing this terror to our doorstep."
Yeah. I can only pray that your past will burden you less. Cheers.
So, listeners, it is as of recording is my birthday weekend, and Jared and I are going to hang out tonight. Hopefully, I think so.
Yep.
Jared, I want you to. That's your toast to me tonight.
I'm going to toast that at some point. I can only pray that your past will burden you less.
Jesus Christ. So then old guy comes in who was important the first part one, but less so this part.
Irrelevant now, yeah.
He rolls in. He's like, "Hey, we're ready."
Hey,
Like,
what's the plan?
and then
Dennis is like, okay.
And then
Here we go.
I hate this so much. Like, and he comes in and the camera pulls back to the table of six here.
Yeah.
And it's like the Last Supper shot. And I wanted to throw my TV. I wanted to throw everything out the window. I'm like,
yep. They're like all kind of sitting on the same side of the table.
I was gonna say, like,
so the camera could be there.
I don't think this is a safety tip, but like, don't sit all on one side if you're going to a dinner party. People don't sit like that.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's weird.
Don't be weird.
Don't be weird. Maybe that's the safety tip. Don't be weird. Like, why is everyone on one side?
It's so silly.
Literally, you're into ripping off movies. Rip off. I don't know. Any movie where people are talking around a table.
There's multiple camera shots at a table.
Goodfellas. I'm sure Godfather did it because you're always eating because it's Italian, right? Italians are always eating. Of course. Right?
Italians are always eating, yeah.
Always eating. We know that.
Yeah, we lost all the Italian listeners a long time ago anyways.
Long time ago. I think we did that movie that was in Italy. I think we lost them then.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, speaking of Italy, actually, you're gonna love my facts. I think this episode, the Leaning Tower of Pisa could be seen as almost a structural rebel. It started leaning soon after the construction began because of inadequate foundation on soft ground, and it's been defying gravity ever since.
I hate you.
Something of a structural rebel myself.
Structural rebel. Hey, is that a tower? Is it a straight? Tilt your head.
It's a little crooked.
Hey, it isn't now. Now we've lost all our Italian listeners right there. I think that was
that's right. If they weren't gone, they definitely are.
They are. Yeah, they're definitely gone.
So then Titus walks through the plan and he's like, all right, guys, here's what we're going to do. Kidnap the guys who come to kidnap our grain. Then we'll negotiate some kind of a trade. Meantime, Cora, you got to go hide that ship because it's going to be important probably by the end. And all right, that's it. Everybody break. And then Tarak is like,
Whoa.
you've been drinking water the whole time.
Whoa, Bayside.
Like he's supposed to be like the Thor character, I guess, in the Avengers here. Because one more property for this movie to rip off.
All right, so we're right at the halfway point, I think, right now around here. And we were on Felt the next day here, and we got the shitty ship taken off.
Yeah. Oh well, this is when there's a quick cut of like the dreadnought getting into position over the planet. Like we've arrived. It's day 5. Shit's about to go down.
Collecting our grain. So then Aunt Larry Hopkins, Sir Aunt Larry Hopkins, he shows up and
because she's hiding the ship in some cave waterfall.
A bat cave, basically. It's a bat cave. It's literally stolen from another movie.
But also, it's so far away. Like she flies a ship, and there's probably 10 minutes of her like riding around in the landscape.
And we know trajectory of ships and distance and space and time. That's pretty far from the village.
Yeah, a ship's probably going at least 100 miles an hour.
No matter what, it is gone. It has traveled
miles and miles and miles so far. Like she's not going to be able to retrieve it in any amount of time, right?
No, she's going to have to fly the ship she flew there to go back to the village to get there in time. Like it's going to take her like 3 days a hike back, basically.
That was the other thing too. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. Now it's going to take her the rest of the day to get home. Like, is she going to miss the battle?
Yeah,
so mad. But yeah, so then they do a whole thing about she greets the robot as James, which no one has done thus far.
We don't. No.
Like the first movie and halfway through this one, no one has called him James.
No one's like barely even said his name, but he's Jimmy the Robot. That's what he is.
Jimmy the Robot. Yeah. And he's like, the last person that called me that was some guy who died in my arms. And you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty fucked.
Jesus, man. All right, settle down.
And he's like, it makes me feel something other than hopelessness to be called James. I like that. The sound of my name reminds me why I exist. And she's like, yeah, so like, come on, don't you want to fight? Like, it's from the trailer. She's like, that's their biggest nightmare. If it's us fighting together, robots and humans alike. And he's like, you can't win. Smell ya.
Yeah, he leaves it. You cannot win.
And like, if there were an army of robots, sure.
Sure.
It's just him.
Yeah.
Just crazy Anthony Hopkins. Like, he can't do anything.
He's lost his robot brain.
You'd think.
He's out there in the woods hunting bucks.
Yeah.
All right, so then we're in the trenches here, and we're in the felt trenches, and we're setting some charges here. A little setup for payoff later.
Dropping bombs all through the tunnels.
Yeah.
That seems weird for the tunnels that you're going to use, but okay.
Hey, I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not a bomb tunnel guy.
So they're setting charges, or doing this whole trench thing, and then a dreadnought shows up. Poop, poop, hello. And everyone's like, oh,
Everyone's like,
boy.
It's been 5 days already?
Oh, what?
What do we do? Finish your work. They're all like, finish your work. Everyone finish. You're like,
Harvest
you can't
fast.
dig trenches.
Dig faster. Harvest faster. Set those bombs faster. So everyone's rushing around to get in their positions. Did the dreadnought show up early, or like they knew it was 5 days?
No,
right?
It was like 5 days. Yeah.
Okay, so why were they surprised?
That's what I said.
Okay, all right. I just thought, I was like, wait, why are they surprised? They knew it was.
No,
They
I think maybe they hoped.
They literally knew. They hoped it wasn't going to show up. Like,
I don't know.
oh shit! It showed up at 9 a.m. I thought it was going to come at like 11.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I don't have any of these tunnels ready.
There's so much digging to do. Somewhere up
And on
in the
ship, they're like looking at radar of the ground, obviously, and they're like,
and can
oh,
see
yeah,
everything, and like, well, there's a whole longhouse full of women and children.
Yeah.
We can blow that up.
Oh, they're using the grains as defense. Smart.
Oh, smart. Yes.
Classic Titus.
Oof.
Literally,
Right.
is what the Admiral Noble says. He's like, like classic Titus. Like that guy
Yeah.
knows how to run a war.
Clearly, Titus got his groove back. He knows what's going on.
You're like, all right, so easy plan then. Let's just capture the women and children, and then we'll see how much they really want to fight after that.
Yeah, I mean that's right. Or we can
right.
just overpower them with all of our weapons and soldiers and tanks hey, I know I'm just an intern over here. Can we just if we don't need the grain, can we just blow up the village? Call it a day.
Yeah.
Guy in the corner is like, whoa, no, whoa, that's too easy. Why would we do
The
that?
Scargiver's on the ground.
No, everyone's got to earn their keep here. Everyone's got to earn their paycheck. They got to send
That's right. Some of you have to die first.
to make it worthwhile, right? Sometimes you have to fire some people to make the stock price go up, right?
That's right. That's right.
So we're back.
Yeah, empires run the same way.
So we're back in Felt, and
Or
Cora.
making hot water.
Well, and she's also doing a highly risky. This I think is actually a safety tip here. She's doing a highly risky self haircut.
Yeah, I think that's like 196. It's pretty far down.
Yeah, 195 and 196, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's. I forget the exact. It's like don't cut your own hair.
Yeah. That's it.
No, I can't remember. Is it unless you're in a movie or unless you unless you want to look like you cut your own hair? I think that's
Unless you're at war.
Yeah, unless you're warring. I can't remember the exact wording, but basically, just don't cut your own hair unless you want to look like you cut your own hair, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Which, by the way, her self haircut, it's damn
Not
near
good.
perfect. Well, it's damn near perfect because she gets the line in the back.
It's perfect for what she's going for, but also like it looks terrible.
Like
I don't know.
everyone just
What
got a
kind of
bowl.
haircut is this?
I don't know, but she got the perfect lines in the back there, though. It's like
It's like a bowl mohawk with the half shaved on the side.
throw another shrimp in the bobby. It's another Dumb and Dumber.
Does have a
haircut.
good line. You're right. Yeah, I was kind of wondering. I was like, somebody must have shaved her head after this, right? Like the sides and the back.
I guess
Do they have clippers?
they don't have AI and technology to harvest grain, so they
It's a 2 in the back.
and they still mainly load their long rifles like it's like 1875 or something like.
Right. One of the guns, I think, in the I have subtitles turned on like I always do, and they called one of the guns like a blunderbuss. I was like, why?
Is that straight from like Fallout 4? Like what?
I don't. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an old gun, like a real gun.
Yeah,
But
but it's like,
also,
why?
what?
You load ammo that shoots lasers? I don't.
Couldn't tell you.
No. Anyways, all right. So we're back on the dreadnought,
tell you.
and we got a bunch of ships and prepping and taking off. Right, coming in, incoming warships. I was like, this should be an easy fight. This is over. This is already over, right?
One would think.
Overwhelmingly over. And then we get a quick shot of Nemesis. She's like, oof. I think we're toast.
Boy.
Oh boy. I think we might be toast.
Yep.
And then we and also all these ships pulling into this planet, by the way, they're all burning black smoke. Like they're not very good for the environment. Like, what's going on here?
That's right. That's right too. They're definitely inefficient ships.
Yeah, that
Should be electric by now.
right. EV ships.
Yep. Stupid.
And then
They all
Admiral,
land, right? And
yeah,
then,
yeah, they all land. Admiral Dickhead here, Atticus, he shows up. He's like, "What up?" And Cora shows up.
he's
And
like,
she's showing off.
well.
Well.
That's a classic villain move. He's like, no welcome from the village.
Ugh, I hate that. I hate that.
And he's like, Cora, why don't you just tell me what you're trying to achieve here?
She's like, "Check out my new haircut."
And she's like, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, right. Got it.
Remember last time you did that? How'd that turn out?
Yeah. Got this nice scar from the Scargiver herself. I'm going to say it again because I've already said it, but I'll do it again.
And they volley like a bunch of threats back and forth, and it's all just stupid.
Yeah. Well, she's like trying to negotiate with him. She's like, you want a seat in the Senate, right? And he's like, well, I think it's what I deserve. He's like, all right, here's what you're going to do. Take the grain, leave the villagers unharmed, and then like, that's it. And he's like, you think you have the power to negotiate? He's like, you just told me your plan and it's already failing because we're surrounding your longhouse full of women and children right now. Yeah, fine. We'll leave, but like the cost is going to be your life.
Yes.
Does the thing from the trailer. He's like, are you going to allow this to continue in your name? And she's like, no, you know what? I surrender.
I don't even
I'm going to say
know why.
goodbye to my friend Goon.
I don't even know why he's hunting her anymore. I'm not even sure. I forgot.
Because she killed the king. And that's the thing too, where I'm like,
didn't.
wait a second.
Well, no, she didn't, but like, yeah. But
I know, but like everyone thinks that in the universe. Like, but outside of that, like Admiral Noble, I think is just doing his, like, he thinks that he's loyal to the king and she killed the king. So like, I think he's not doing anything wrong here.
So because he believes a lie because he wasn't in that room, right? Yeah. Right.
He serves the king.
Yeah, he's just serving the king.
He's like, I can't believe she killed the king. Like the whole time, all of the soldiers are like, for the slain king.
Yeah.
You're like, they're all like on the right side of history here as far as like what they think they're doing.
Technically speaking, right?
Right?
Shit.
Yep.
Are we on the right side of history? Are we on the right side of history? Like, where are we?
Well, medium. About a solid medium. Yeah. You mean us, like me and you, or you mean us, like the United States, or like unclear?
Oh, no, I mean you and I. I don't care about
yeah, I think we're doing fine.
I am not getting into the United States if we're on the right side of history, but
yeah, exactly.
We are, right? But, you know.
Well, for sure, yeah. But just me and you, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, Thanos was right.
Just snap and make everyone go away.
That's right.
All right, so this is like basically what this is, just like this really long scene it's drawn out, and she's like,
so long.
She basically just end of the day, she sacrifices herself, right?
Right.
Well, and she goes and hugs. Yeah, she tries to. And she goes and hugs Gunner. And she's like, hey, I'm taking off, blah, blah. And she's a terrible assassin, by the way, because she doesn't recognize that this farmer boy steals her gun.
Yep. So silly. Classic goon.
Yeah, classic goon. He turns around and he's like, I won't have it. And he shoots the bell to alert everyone to get everyone fired up.
It's a signal.
In slow-mo, of course.
Yep. And then everything gets action.
So much action. I love how just some dude, like, as soon as the bell goes, the dude, like, he's like down in the trench. He's like, I just gotta hear the bell. I just gotta hit the bell. The bell goes, and he just pops up. He's like, rocket time.
Yep. And he immediately tries to blow up the ship, which goes pretty well.
Yeah. It's direct hit. Slow-mo explosion, because if you're gonna do CGI, you might as well do it in slow-mo.
Lean in. Yeah. Yep.
And
somehow Cora and Goon end up in the river.
In slow-mo. That's right. They dive into a river.
Yeah. And then Goon's like, hey, Cora, get on this horse. You're our only chance. And you're like,
got 5 legs, by the way.
He's like, we got to get you to the ship. That's our only chance. You're like, how? Why? Like, what is happening right now? And then they run off to go to that ship that's like 100,000 miles away, which, if you could drive a car on the moon, it would, we're talking average speed limits here. Yep. It would take you about a month to drive around the whole moon.
Really?
Assuming you don't get stopped by a lunar traffic cop.
Jeez. Jesus Christ.
I've got more.
Can't wait. All right. So they escape slow-mo into the river. That's a great lunar fact right there. I love it. It'd take you a month at average speeds, what, 40 miles an hour?
I don't know. The fact didn't say. You would think that's important.
Because the gravitational pull on the moon is much different than here. So what's average speed then on the moon?
Oh, no. Listeners, back into the math for us here. Like, what? Find out the circumference of the moon because we don't know that either. Then figure out how fast you'd have to go.
What's your
so that it would take a month.
See, this is a learning podcast. This is where we're imploring you to go learn.
That's right.
By our inability to knowledge or this is a question we're setting forth to you, listener.
Figure out how fast you'd have to go so that it takes a month.
But we're telling you, though, there is an average speed that you can go on the moon, and it'll take you a month to get around. So
it'll take you about a month.
That variable is set. You just have to figure out everything else.
That's right. That's right.
Not a leap year month, just a solid 30 days.
Just a regular month, yeah.
Regular month that is not 28 or 30 or 31. 30 days. Okay, so the Admiral does like this short little walk, and he just drops down into the trenches, does the old superhero landing, and just kicks ass, right?
Yep, it's from the trailer. He just starts slashing throats and stabbing people left and right. And you're like, wait, what? Why? And they have like a bunch of like cuts of like other ships getting blown up, and then guys just like jumping around and like, oh, like in slow motion. Like,
Nemesis, she's kicking ass and doing stuff in slow mo. Of course, there's a bunch of
Wilhelm scream in there.
Yeah, a bunch of laser swords galore. And then we got Atticus. He goes to take off. He gets tackled by Den, the room that's useless, right? And and they fight. And I'm like, Den, you're not going to win this battle. That's a dining room. You're fighting a dining room.
The house always wins.
So they fight, and we cut back to Korra and Gunnar. They're taking off in the ship that was like 3 miles away, probably further than that.
Somehow they got there.
Not 3 miles. It's like actually further than that because
it's so far.
As we said, ship space time travel. Yeah, okay.
She flew there.
she flew the ship there. That's far. Jesus. It's like she parked it in California, basically. Right. Like
it's like 3,000 miles. Yeah.
So and then we cut back to Atticus and living room and Den. They're fighting, and living room kills Den because living room is greater than Den.
And I do appreciate it's like almost like a Darth Vader kind of like he's like, well, killed that guy. Like, on to the next thing. Like they just like leave.
I also love how like Den gets like pushed off out of the ship, like, and they made it feel like we were supposed to care. I was like, this guy just wanted to sleep
10 minutes.
10 minutes over the 2 movies, and he just wanted to sleep with Korra.
Right.
That was all like the first movie. He's like he walked in the longhouse like, hey,
like the arranged marriage thing, right?
Right.
So silly.
So he gone and dead. And
then Korra back with Korra and Goon, and she's like, all right, hold on. Like, I'm going to catch up to those ships that are flying back to the Dreadnought now, which is one of the ships that the Admiral's on. And she's like, all right, fire it up. Like, get the smoke bomb out. And he's like, what? Goon's like, a smoke bomb now? And she's like, yeah. This will go gangbusters. Trust me. And so she's basically pretending that the ship and them are injured. And they're like, this way we can get onto the ship. They'll just bring us in, which is stupid. Because you would think that the ships would all have some kind of like unique identifier.
Again, this is a thing we've seen this a million times, right? So it's like slight variations of Star Wars. Again, like
exactly
Return of the Jedi. They have the stolen ship, and they're flying back with the old. Yeah, well,
why don't you just let us in?
Like, yes, sir. It's an old passcode, but it still checks out. All right, let them in. Okay.
Doesn't make any sense, but
all right,
it's gonna work.
It works. They're like, we'll put you in for maintenance then. Your ship seems like it's out of order. We'll put you in for maintenance. All right, and then
got the Titus.
More speeches.
Giving a pep talk.
Like, where has he been this entire time?
I don't nowhere.
And then
But he's like, all right, we got a battle now. And everyone's like, okie dokie. So then we have like a firefight montage where tons of people die in slow motion.
yep.
No, no, no.
Abs McConaughey, he gives his own speech to his crew. You ready to fight? And one random dude's like, and die. And he's like, well, we hope the enemies die, but not us. Like,
yeah.
why would that
Save
be
the dying for your enemies?
like, why would that be your thing? Let's go fight and die? No, but no.
Yep,
listen, if there's any farmers out there who's defending a village and you versus the Empire, the idea is to fight, yes.
Don't die.
But don't die. Because if you die, don't exist anymore.
Listeners, never die.
All right. So
one piece of advice. Don't die.
Don't die. Keep listening. Keep downloading. And then we come back to Nemesis, and she loses an arm. She loses her metal arm, but she's like, like it's just a metal arm. It's a metal arm. We know it's a robot. We know it's a robot arm.
Probably doesn't hurt that much.
Settle down.
Yeah. Yep. And then the girl that's in the back, who's the love interest of
in
Soldier
slow-mo.
Boy.
In slow-mo, by the way. That was in slow-mo. Slow-mo.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Right.
She gets her, this girl gets her gun chopped in half, and she's like, oh man, now I can't even shoot.
It's not looking good for the villagers right now. It's a lot of slow-mo dying. And then we cut to the trenches, and we got some dude gets killed, and then some random dude is like sitting on the ground. He's like, he's got a grenade, and he's like, oh, I guess if this is my time, if this is my moment, if I'm going to blow the entire harvest, I might as well do it right now. Yeah. And it's like so long, and he like beep, 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 and then all the other like rebels, or not rebel, the Empire soldiers roll in. Sorry, not Empire, Realm soldiers roll in.
Right.
And they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I guess it's a creative way to do war if you're trying to just like blow up the tools that you were using, I guess.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of creative, the guy who invented the Frisbee was kind of a rebel when it came to dying because he had it in his wishes that his ashes should be turned into a Frisbee. And they were.
If I was a guy who invented the Frisbee, I'd want my ashes
cooked into a Frisbee?
No. Spread across the land via Frisbee. Like you attach the the urn to the bottom of the Frisbee.
That's right.
And it's got like a couple holes in it, like a salt and pepper shaker, and then you just toss the Frisbee, and my ashes just go.
Well, you were on the right track.
It's cool. In my head, I thought you were going to say that. I was like, that sounds awesome. Like, oh, you didn't say that.
Nope. What a rebel.
He turned his ashes. That's not a rebel. You just turned yourself into the product you made. No, be smarter. Jesus. Why do I have to think for other people?
Hard to say. It's tough to be so smart.
Right? And just throw that Frisbee and let it kind of waft in the air and kind of get stuck in the wind and like, oh, I think it's coming back. Here come the ashes.
What a delight. Surprise and delight.
I think when I die, I've told you I want to be cremated. I think that's the plan. You're going to put me in a Frisbee urn.
With a salt shaker.
Yeah, salt shaker. And then you're going to just toss me with the crowd. But I want you to angle it so it comes back. So it kind of,
Ooh, boomerang Frisbee. Nice.
Yeah, but I want all the ashes of me to fall on the crowd. That's the point. So you toss it out and then.
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a crowd. Don't worry. I'll assemble a crowd.
It's gonna be like you, and that's it.
Oh, I'm covered. Oh.
And our Italian listeners.
Right. We loved him so much.
We love him so much. We're so happy you're gone.
Oh my God.
All right, so we're back in the Dreadnought. Here we are. We're in the big ship, and Cora and Gunnar, they're pulling the old Hannibal Lecter move. This is another stolen move. It's stolen for a lot of
be dead.
Yeah, you pretend to be dead. You wear a mask, right, of the team you're supposed to be on, right? Hannibal Lecter, literally. Anthony Hopkins. Here's the connection, right?
Classic.
and literally, the point is that they pull the Hannibal Lecter move because they got like 5 or 6 like.
There's a ton of medics around them. Yeah, like
they're medics. They're trying to save you. Like, don't kill them.
Oh my God, these injuries look pretty bad. Well, I can't find like real injuries, but
they're also the worst medics on the planet. Like, wait, there's no injuries here. And then she pulls off the mask and she's like, boo, 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 and just kills.
There's a lot of blood on their uniforms, but
you just murdered medics. Like, I think it's a war crime, isn't it? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah. Silly.
Jeez Christ. So then we are
We
back
cut
in
back to
the
Nemesis.
yeah, and she takes a deadly blow, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Laser swords will get you. She gets impaled like in slow motion because of course you do.
it's of
And
course in
so
slow-mo.
the kid that she made friends with earlier gets up and he goes and like stabs the guy who impaled her. And
Yeah,
apparently that's distraction enough for Nemesis to like
okay,
stab that guy in the throat
right.
before she dies. She's about to die. And so then they have this scene takes so long.
So
Like she
long.
looks at the kid and the kid looks at her and she looks at the kid and the kid looks at her and
Oh
then they
my God.
hug and they cry.
Again,
Um,
it feels like a movie that's trying too hard. It's like it's trying to make us feel emotion about this. And it's like I don't care.
yeah.
I don't
I've
care.
like Nemesis has had 4 lines in the
Yeah,
movie, and
yeah,
her character's been in, I don't know, 10 scenes.
maybe.
I don't care about her
She
at
fought
all.
the spider lady in the
Right.
first movie, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah. So
Completely
silly.
pointless. Yeah.
Yep. And then yeah, she's like, it's okay. You did good. And then she dies finally. And that's when the soldier boy is like, oh my God, I should help. And you're like, well, you just watched this happen for 15 minutes and you didn't do anything. So
Nothing. You did nothing. Like,
he's like, oh my God, gosh, she's dead. You're like, yeah, no shit.
and then it quick cuts to slow mo war. We got Titus kicking and
Mhm.
shooting. Right, he's like kicking. He's
Yep.
like,
Yep. And
Tarak,
Tarak is there too.
Abs McConaughey. He's just like he's pumped because like they think they won. Right, they're like, yeah, we did it in slow mo.
Yeah.
Like,
And I was like, wait a second, they actually did it?
was
They
like-
cleared the level?
like,
No.
no, definitely not. There's more. False victory. And we got tanks rolling in and more soldiers, and they're like, oh man. And it's all in slow-mo, of course, because that's what we do here.
Yeah, and it's not just soldiers this time. Now it's like these cool mech
Tank.
things too that have like laser cannons. And
It
you're like,
literally
these guys
reminds-
are doomed.
It reminds me of the speaking of the 25th anniversary of Phantom Menace, right? 25 years?
Something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
25.
sounds right.
Holy smokes. 25 years.
Yeah.
They're re-releasing in the theaters, which why?
Right. Someone will go see it.
I mean, a lot of people go see it, but why?
Yep.
All right, we're back in the Dreadnought, and
And they're like, I don't like these people are covered. This is you kind of skipped ahead a little bit for
I
when they
did.
kill all the medics, which
Right.
is fine. But they're like, I don't see any wounds here, but they're covered in blood. And they're like, yeah, I don't know, it must be crazy. And then they're like, Cora just gets up and kills everyone.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, Goon, you go back to the ship and like keep it running because I'll be right there. And he's like, all right, be quick about it. And she's like, see ya.
So now we're gonna go into like a lot of intercut stuff. So it's like right because we bounce between War on the Ground, very Star Wars. We've done this. We've seen this in Star Wars before, right? You got someone
That's
on a
right.
ship. They're doing their thing. Obi-Wan and Anakin doing their thing on a ship. Meanwhile, war is going on down on the ground.
Yep.
We cut down to Felt. There's more warring going on. Pew, 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 pew. Intercut with back to Dreadnought. Cora sneaking around. We cut back to Felt. We have that other character from the other movie. What's her name again?
Milius.
Milius.
She's like, I should help.
she decides to go take care of the tank.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It's not going to go well.
No.
Yeah. Then we get Cora trying to do stealth stuff around the Dreadnought. She's like climbing up ladders and taking off her clothes for some reason, which you're like, you were like wearing a uniform to be disguised earlier.
Guys,
Why
now
are you?
ruining-
Now you're obvious.
All right, yeah. So she takes off her disguise, which makes no sense, but whatever. You know,
Yeah. And she ends up in some kind of like data core of the ship that has a face for some reason.
I didn't get
It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. Oh my god, it looks like the same things that like the back to tank thing. There's like things coming into it. I was like, oh, cool. This is
Yeah.
the
Kinda like
Death Star shot.
Dragon?
This, yeah, but I didn't get the face thing when it came back to it. I was like, why is there a face in this thing?
Yep. And don't worry, we never find out.
We for so much exposition in this movie, there's so many things they don't explain that should be explained. Like,
I hate it so much.
so she's setting up explosives on this main core reactor, we'll call it,
That's right.
that powers
That's
the
right.
Dreadnought and powers the Death Star thing that we have here. We cut back to Felt. There's more warring, a lot more, other characters.
Laser cannons, shooting
kicking
stuff.
ass. Yeah, she gets a rocket launcher. She takes out a tank.
Milius,
She gets,
yeah.
she gets messed up in slow mo. Back to the Dreadnought. Cora doing some stuff with the core reactor, which again has a face, which I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then some soldier just shows up, like walking down the plank. He's like, "What are you doing there?
You there.
Hey, you're there. What are you fiddling with that stuff for?" Rah.
Yep.
She kills him and then jumps off the bridge
That's right.
in slow-mo. It's a far
Yeah.
fall down to the
Yeah.
engine room, which is
Yeah.
below, and it's just coal. It's literally
Yep,
guys shoveling coal.
just like shoveling coal into the monster. I don't understand. But she like kills them all anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Like
She just murders everyone.
like who's doing any logic check? Like what? So how does this ship work? So it's a coal. It's like an old train. It's like an old steam engine train then. But
It's a coal monster.
with the monster or the fate.
That's right. Oh, you got it. I think
Okay.
you got it.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm not far off, right?
Nope. And then that's when we get to the quick cut to the bridge, and they're like, "Intruder alert!" And they're like, "Wait a second, it's a woman?"
Yeah, the one the one guy who survives her, like literally just lighting everyone up down there. Like again, murdering people who are just doing their
Just doing
job.
their jobs.
They're
Just shoveling coal.
They're not the ones shooting the guns. They're the ones who like
Nope.
just shoveling coal. Like the guy's like, I got a wife and kid back home. This is the only job I can get.
Dead as hell now.
Benefits are fine. Hopefully, he has a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
And
2 days away from retirement.
2 days and I'm too old for this shit kind of thing. And there's a guy in the corner who's like, bridge. There's a problem down here. There's a woman down here.
Yeah. And everyone's like, a woman, and Admiral
Like,
Noble's
why is that a
"It's
problem?"
her." You're like, well, there's no other women that work on the ship? Like,
No, it's a woman. The woman. Oh, okay.
why didn't you say so?
Why did you say so?
Yeah. And he's like, all right,
What
this fire on the village. I don't care about the grain anymore. And the guy's like, but the grain. And he's like, right, doesn't matter. And he's like, but the men. And he's like,
That doesn't
don't
matter.
care about them either. But
'Cause
we're not going to have grain, so we can't feed them anyway.
Yeah, less mouths to feed. We don't need the grain. Do you see where the math is going here? Like,
Yeah. We have the Scargiver on board. We're going to go to the mother world. It's going to be awesome.
so you could have done this from the beginning and just torched this village in like 2 seconds.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, and also saved all your guys too. Because there's
Yep.
got to be food in other parts of the galaxy.
Yeah. Or eat the guys. I don't know.
Yeah, cannibalism. When in doubt, Hannibal Lecter it, you know?
Works every time. Yeah. And so word spreads around the ship. This takes like 5 minutes for some reason. Everyone's like, target the village. Everyone's like, okay,
why?
cool.
Yeah, why? Like this whole thing, like, what?
Yeah. It takes so long.
Wouldn't you, if your idea is to go and take over a village, wouldn't you have your guns pointed at the village to, yeah, okay.
One would think, no, they're all the way around the other side of the ship.
But sir, we came to orbit in the wrong side. Oh, I told you the right side. I told you that the guns were on the left side. We were supposed to come in the left side, but we came in the right side because, cameras.
Gasp. Nope.
Cast
So then the
bridge.
admiral's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go find her. She's in the sub levels somewhere, I'm sure. And so sure enough, she's like sneaking around the sub levels, just murdering people, getting into the red elevator from the trailer, and she's like, all right, phew, I'm going down, everyone. That's when we come back to the battlefield, right?
Yep, we're back to felt more warring action for that random character. Abs McConaughey and Titus, they're fighting. We got and then
Everyone's like, Tarak is like running around cutting people's throats with a tomahawk for some reason. And you're like, why?
bro.
What is this movie?
Like,
it doesn't make any sense. Speaking of Italians,
that's what I was. Yes,
I'm sure you're familiar with Pompeii, a top Italian mountain, as we all know.
Yeah. Very
well. Did you know that Io, which is one of Jupiter's moons, is the most volcanically active body in the solar system, literally bursting with rebellion against being a typical calm moon. So we got moons and rebels.
Christ, mate. See, Italian.
I got more later. Don't worry.
I know. Okay. All right. So then we've warred, and then we get some more. So Tarak, and he saves the other character, Milius, whatever. They talk about dying for something like, I'm glad
he's
to
like,
die for something.
I thought all I wanted was to die in battle, but actually, I don't think I want to die. Oh,
yeah,
shocker.
dude. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, stay alive.
Hey, you fight to win, not to die. Like,
so silly.
Jesus.
Yep. And that's when Antler Hopkins shows up, right?
Yeah, more bad. Well, more baddies roll in, and it feels like it's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like kind of like the all is lost moment of like, oh man,
It's overwhelming.
it's overwhelming. We can't handle this. More baddies roll in, but they're like, forget it, we're
But
going
wait.
in. But then
A robot.
Jimmy the robot, he plops down and in a slow mo lands, does a superhero landing, and
Yeah.
stands off against the
Everyone's
baddies, and just
What?
be like, whoa, man, where have you been the entire movie? Just watching us awkwardly.
Yeah. But like the whole battle stops. Like this is a battlefield that's like the entire wheat field or whatever. Who knows?
Right.
And everyone stops and looks and they're like, a robot? What?
Because we all know in Dub 2 when the Americans showed up, everyone just stopped.
That's right. Yeah, apparently. What?
What?
Yep.
Jesus H. So he shows up and
And apparently he's like laser proof and bulletproof. Like nothing bad can happen. He's like invulnerable, it seems like.
which I don't know. In the first movie, he got his ass kicked into a pile of poop.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Right?
Just kick him.
No, he
Just
gets
kick
shot
him.
a bunch.
I shot a ton, but he takes out like 4 or 5 guys. That's it. And then he takes out a tank, which
Yep.
he jumps inside the tank and pulls a grenade and like hangs out for a second. The guy's like, oh man. And he jumps out of the tank and the tank explodes.
It's so dumb. Yep. And
Just
then he like lands and like the farmers all
Super-
look at him and they
Yeah.
like do a quick nod. They're like,
Thanks,
don't
Jimmy.
worry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, his eye holes lit up too to red mode. So I think that means
All
war
his holes. Yeah.
that means war mode, right? That's
I think
kill
so.
mode. Yeah, he went to kill mode.
Yeah. All his holes turned red.
When in doubt, let your holes turn red.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So then
Back
we're
to the dreadnought.
so we're back on the dreadnought. Gunner's like he's on the ship. He's goons on the ship. He's like, hey babe, what are you doing, babe? Come on up to the
I got the car running just like you said.
car's running. I'm waiting.
Wasting
for
gas.
you. Yeah, get your shoes on. Let's go.
And she's like, I'm almost there. Don't worry.
Don't worry about it. I actually didn't know where she was headed. Was she actually heading to him, or was she heading to go?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So then Dreadnought's still taking aim. It's like. I really hope in the future, in a far off galaxy, we have better technology than this. This is why we'd never meet other intelligent life, because if this is our technology, is like we're not.
Right. Swing the guns around to the other side. Okay, it's gonna take an hour.
Yeah, give us about 40 minutes of movie time.
Yeah, what? Like, what if you needed to move them again? Like,
Just turn it'd be quicker to turn the ship around.
I get right. You would think like.
Should we just expend the extra coal? Hey guys, can you shovel more coal so we can spin the ship around? So the guns are pointing the right way.
Make the weird sentient ship that seems to exist like turn around on its own. Unclear. Doesn't make any sense. But this is when we get the trailer scene, right? Because she finally gets down to the bottom of the elevator, does the platform thing. Like there's a huge laser sword / blaster battle. She kills everyone, and like when she stabs the guy with the laser sword, she apparently burns herself for some reason.
Yeah, and also burns out the sword. I don't know. Yeah, it was all the
but
side scrolling.
She takes it with her because she fights with it in a minute.
Yeah, and then she takes an entire elevator ride to like wrap it in like a cloth.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I don't know what that means.
Speaking of laser swords and May the 4th and Rebels,
come on,
right? Because again, this is very derivative of that. There's a Star Wars show called Rebels that I haven't watched, but did you know that in that show, the lightsaber blades they made flicker just like they did in A New Hope? Like they like went back to the original kind of Star Wars lightsaber styling as opposed to the newer, like less flickery CGI kind. And so they used like a glowing rod that like was rotating around as like a practical effect, just like they did back in the 70s. And then they like did some extra CGI and stuff, but pretty cool that the effects supervisor, Joel Aaron, was like wanted to match the original flicker rate to make them look exactly like they did back in 1977.
I love that.
Yeah, super cool.
See, that's called being consistent in logic, whereas this movie's got none. We need Olivia Wilde on this set. She needs to be like logic police and be like,
right?
this makes sense.
Excuse me.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, there is afterlife.
Something. All right.
Yeah,
You should go listen to Lazarus, though. Lazarus Effect, if you want to hear more about that. Anyways,
that's right.
so
And I should watch Rebels probably. I heard
probably
it's good.
that's yeah. I've heard the same too. All right. Enough about good stuff. So then we got the side scrolling action scene. It was all in the trailer. Literally, the entire scene was in the trailer.
Yep.
Dreadnought's still slowly taking aim on the village.
Yep. Yep. Slow.
Just spin the ship
There's like
around.
some soldier like cranking it.
Yeah,
They show this guy like
literally.
cranking it on like the
Like-
bottom floor.
Like what?
Okay. And so then like the soldiers finally show up at the engine room where they're looking for her, and she's not there anymore because she's on the elevator, which the elevator stops, and it's our buddy the Admiral, right? And then we get a quick like goons sneaking around too, like somehow he found her. He's like,
Here's-
oh good, we have all our main characters in one room again. How convenient.
And there's like a bunch of like, there's definitely just a bunch of like slow mo things going on here. And then we get, so yeah, wait, you said she pops in the elevator door opens because it stops, and like we got Atticus there. He drops an F bomb.
Yep. Oh, he does?
You get
I missed
you,
it.
you not oh yeah he drops you get
What
one
did he say?
for you get one for PG-13. Yeah, he said something like there she fuck is.
Oh, wow.
Not
What a
like
waste.
it was like such a waste. It wasn't like a New England accent either. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, wow.
There she
Yeah.
is. Can't get that from here.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dudes in the engine room they discover the explosives on the face, which we have no explanation of, but it needs to be fed
Yeah.
coal of some sort. And they're like,
Right.
oh,
The coal eating
no.
monster.
Feed me. Kind of wish it was like a little shop of horrors plant.
Yeah, it just turned into a musical. I'd like that better, I think.
Rebel Moon, the musical.
That's part 3.
Part 3. When in doubt, just make a musical. It'll win an award. All right. So,
Yeah,
so the
so
dudes,
now-
they find the explosive, like, shit.
Yeah. And right at the same time that they find the bombs, the gun is also ready, and then the bombs start to blow up and make the gun
because
miss the town magically. Yeah.
And like overshot and hit like the
Like the hill next to it,
Yeah.
which seemingly probably would have done a ton of damage also, and like covered the town in dirt or like
and
something.
had some type of ripple effect because like an explosion like that would have like caused like some anyways.
Yeah.
So
Some kind of earthquake. Yeah.
so then there's the
whole dreadnought starts to blow up at this point because the bomb in the engine room monster.
right, and Cora's facing off with Atticus and some other dude, right? And he's like, "Go kill her!" And before the other guy's about to go kill her, Gunnar,
Guns down.
guns down the other guy,
Yep.
and then Atticus turns around. And he's like, "What the?" And he shoots him in the shoulder, well, in the chest or something, because he ends up dying.
Something
but
like that.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
And Cora's like, "No!" And
No.
she's upset
Yeah.
because her boyfriend got shot.
There's a quick cut in there of like Titus on the ground looking at the ship exploding and being like, "That must be Cora." What? What's happening?
Like, why?
I don't know.
We don't even need that. Don't even need
We
it.
don't need that.
Nope,
Nope,
don't
we
need
sure
it.
don't.
All right, so then there's slow-mo, just a bunch of slow-mo stuff here, right? So
Yeah.
they
It's a laser sword fight, right?
Laser sword fight, yeah. Laser sword fight. We've seen this in Revenge of the Sith, I think, in the first 10 minutes. Collapsing
That's
ship,
right.
sliding down, sword fight.
Yeah.
Let's go. They slide and fight. Slow-mo reaching for a sword. We got
Admiral loses his.
Yep.
There's more falling and fighting. The Admiral gets the upper hand at some point. And meanwhile, there's like escape ships that are like flying out of the dreadnought, which I was like, are we ever going to have to deal with these? Yes, we will, thankfully.
We will. Yeah, actually, that is one plot thing they do cover up, or they take care of. Yeah, Jesus.
Yep. And then the Admiral starts like choking Cora, and he's like, "Open your eyes, look at me while I kill you.
Look at me.
Look at
All
me."
right, settle down. Just kill her and be done with it, right?
But then Goon shows up,
Yeah.
stabs him through with a laser sword,
That's
and
right.
like almost into Cora's face.
Yep. And yeah, very closely.
And and then they push him into a door that squishes him.
Well, I think it's an elevator shaft, and then she hits the button and it closes. The door closes on him. I was like, oh, I hope it just like does like a Darth Maul moment here and just chops him in half, and we watch him fall down in two pieces. Because like if you're gonna steal.
And they kind of do, but then they also have Korra cut his head off,
which we don't see.
We've killed this guy 3 ways now.
Like you're telling me we can't do a head cut off in PG-13? Come on.
Apparently not. Yeah.
All right, so then we cut back to Abs McConaughey and the other character, and they're watching Dreadnought collapse on the ground, and Korra and Gunnar, they hop in a crash ship, and they escape, and they crash land back on Felt there. And Gunnar, he is not looking good. She drags him out.
They survive just barely. Yeah,
he's dead. They're both dead. There's no seatbelts in that ship. He's just floating around. Like
she like lays on top of him on the ground, which you're like, if he's leaking blood and like struggling to breathe, like why would you do that?
He's like in like an old Chevy here. So he's like
look at what you've done. It's literally what he says. Yeah. Look at what you've done.
You've destroyed everyone. Like you could have just gone somewhere else. Like,
no. He says, you saved us.
Oh, that's right.
And then I love you.
All of us. And I love you.
What?
And I love. I was like, well, I mean, not exactly. She didn't really save you because you're dead. And there's a village of like 50 people, and there's probably like 25 left.
At most.
Not enough to get the harvest done in a cycle.
No way. No.
So they love each other, and it doesn't feel earned at all. And she's crying, and
they don't love each other. He says, "I love you," and she says nothing.
That's a good point. She's like,
and then he like passes out. You're like, oh, okay.
So then other ships roll in, and they're like, oh, Nikes, it's the rebels. It's a rebel crew. They're here with their X-wings. Not the X-wings. Their ships, right?
That's right. Devra rolls up, and like the rebels are here to round up any of the remaining tiny ships, right? Which did you know the first recorded use of the word rebel in English was in the 14th century, being used to describe squirrels that refuse to come down from trees?
Really?
Talk about being stubborn.
Jesus, Henry Christ.
So while the rebel ships are going around killing all the other ships, Antlery Hopkins is just watching at this point. Still, Titus is just watching. Like everyone's just watching, and they're like,
just watching things happen. Yeah, like kind of think they should celebrate, but not really. Oh my god.
Yeah, because the rebels like destroy everything. Like this village is toast.
Yeah, there's nothing left. Like
no. And then the soldier boy and the girl kiss, which you're like, also like, why are we all celebrating? It's not over yet. But
but they celebrate.
I guess it is.
and I feel like Titus was like, I need a drink.
Yeah. He was not happy. Like he was just like looked around.
Yeah, he just looked like the spoil the scars of war,
Mm-hmm.
Not to be Scargiver there. So right. So then we are nighttime then, right? Felt nighttime camp. We are burning all the bodies of all of our fallen friends.
Yep.
We've said this before. I don't think it's a safety tip now. It's a reiteration. If you're going to bury a body, make sure you do it. If you're going to do something, do it right in terms of burying a body. I think this moment, this fits because if you're going to burn a bunch of bodies, don't do it near your water source.
That's right.
Because there's literally the river running right there, and it's like they're burning all these bodies. Like, I don't think you'd want to burn. Yeah.
And then, like, if you're gonna make a big death celebration scene like this, like, make it more impactful. Like,
have some Ewoks celebrating in the woods, right?
Thank you. Exactly. Have a ghost or two for sure.
It's a couple. Have Gunnar show up as like a blue ghost, being like Goon. Have him show up as a blue ghost and be like, I approve. Yeah,
that would be funny. No, instead they have a guy who's not a main character just giving a speech about the dead, and he's like, remember their names when we bring in the harvest. Remember their names for 100 seasons. and carrying on, and by carrying on, and like that's kind of how they end it. It's like, oh, okay. And you can see the heart flag that he got gifted at the beginning is burning now, which like, what? Sure. Why would you? That was probably a nice That was a good amount of work into
Yeah,
that.
nice little blanket there. And then this movie's not without exposition. Let's get exposition for the next part. So
That's right.
Titus is pushing Cora, and she's like, "Hey, I gotta confess. I gotta tell you all something here. Yada yada yada. I killed the princess. Yada yada yada." And Titus is like, "No, no, no.
Yeah, I know, child.
The
And you're like,
princess."
she's like 10 years younger than you.
Yeah. And by the way,
Maybe.
in Titus is literally the end of like every level in Super Mario Brothers. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, the princess isn't dead. She's in just another castle." And everyone's like, "If you want to fight, we'll fight with you." It's like, all right.
Oh
So
my
the
God.
team is reassembled. The significant six are reassembled. Oh no, we're down to five. The
Yeah.
fabulous five are regrouped for part 3 to go find the princess who is in another castle. She's not
Yeah.
dead.
And while this is happening, I just hate how this unfolds because he's like, you have a reason now to find her and fight. And then
That's
yeah,
the
like,
last
he
line of
goes
the movie.
around. Well, but it's not the last line of the movie. It's like the last 10 lines of the movie.
Yeah,
Because then it's like,
yeah.
yeah, it goes around everyone being like, yeah, I'm in, I'm in, I'm in. And Jimmy's like, I want in too. If the
Yeah.
princess is alive, I have no choice. And then he's like, to find her and fight. And Cora looks off whistling. Shout out to Kira.
Best listener.
And yeah, and then Cora's just like looking off and also says to find her and fight. And that's the last line. But like
Excellent. Yeah.
everyone says to find her and to fight. You're like, so frustrating. Just say it once. It's more impactful if you just say it once.
That's the end of the movie. That's it.
Thank God.
Holy smokes, we made it. We survived.
Yeah. And like
all right.
super sequel setup, obviously.
God, part 3, it's gonna happen. We're gonna get it. I don't want it, but
Mhm.
we're gonna get it, and we're gonna do it. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you want to ameliorate real quickly with Jared and Russ?
Yep. Don't make this series of movies.
Nope. Step 1.
Step one.
Step 2.
Don't
Part
do
1,
this.
part 2. Just make it one movie. Hour and 45 minutes.
Make it one movie
One
and
movie.
chop it down by half. Yeah.
And don't have the same villain for both parts. Just have
Yeah.
have him once for one movie,
Or have him for all the parts and he's the main villain.
or have him for all parts. And we, by the way, we know the true villain is Belisarius, her stepdad, there
Right.
guy, who
That's
we got
right.
a little bit fake beard, fakey beard guy.
Yep.
He's gonna come
Not
back
looking
more in
forward to
part
it.
3, probably. Not looking forward to
I'm
more
sure.
fake beard, but
Make the battle scenes more interesting. Like they just kind of like they were all very quick cut. And I
yeah.
think we didn't spend enough time in a battle scene to really like get a good sense for it before it's like, just go to the next thing.
Yeah, I think also like cut all the flashbacks. Don't need that. Cut the B
Yep.
story of like Soldier Boy and the girl. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter at all.
It didn't matter at all.
Nope,
No.
it means nothing. Just cut it out. You don't need it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll matter someday. I don't know.
No, it won't. And all the flashbacks, cut all that stuff out. It's
Give me more Jimmy.
just what's Jimmy up to? What's he doing in the woods out there?
Let Sir Anthony cook,
Right?
Make there be some like real consequences that we care about. Like I don't really care about Goon dying because
I
their
didn't
love
even care.
interest was very short.
I didn't even care about the villain dying.
Same. It just didn't matter. Yeah.
Make it something, like
Make it mean something. Yeah.
make it mean something. I mean, we have to make the comparison to Star Wars because like this movie literally rips it off. Like,
That's right.
who's our big villain in that?
It's supposed to be a mature Star Wars story, which
Oh, Schnikes.
Yeah.
Not even close.
yeah,
All right.
get less slow-mo, just less slow. That's like a Zack Snyder overall comment.
Just stop.
Just stop.
A little more logic. What's the
Yeah.
ship about? Why is there a face on the ship?
Why
Reactor
is their
core?
face into
Why are there guys shoveling coal into fire pits in the engine room?
Good
What
question.
universe are we in?
Why is everyone surprised by a woman on the ship? I thought there were other women on the ship.
That was like, what? A woman down in the engine room?
Well, I never.
Well, I never.
Make it make sense.
All right, that's it. That's our tips for making part 3 better.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We're done. That's it. We're done. We're going to end this harvest, I think. Right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with a new movie. In the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram. It's This Meets That. YouTube, same thing. Share with a friend and subscribe.
Maybe set us to auto download too. That'd be nice.
Oh, that'd be so nice.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
And while you're there, you can also leave us a review. Like while you're doing stuff already, right? Podcast management, just 5 stars, maybe a little comment, something like that would be nice. If you want to send us something longer, send us an email. We accept those and we read them and we put them in Trailer Trash, which I'm sure you've heard because I'm sure you're a dedicated listener. If you're listening to the outro, we appreciate you. But it's thismeansthat@gmail.com. We're always open for business, right? Or go to the website because we've got all the episodes of ITMT. There's merch at TeePublic, which the link is on the website. T-shirts, mouse pads, whatever you're into.
Do it.
Please do it. Info about Russ's book Host, which is available wherever you can buy books.
Do it.
And all kinds of other stuff. Just go check it out. It's thismeansthat.com.